All right, and we're live. How's everyone doing? Let's get a quick mic test and video. Can you see me fine? Looks like everything's going well. I want to give a quick shout out to Ryan Hutchings flying in the air, 35,000 feet in the air, watching this live stream. The first and only thing that comes to mind is, how is your Wi-Fi that quick on a plane? And also shout out to Spectrum Sounds in the comments. Somebody who, actually I won't say why I know him because it's dangerous, but he's a young guy, and I'm young myself. So anytime I see somebody young stepping into games like this, the only thing I can think is move faster, because I can't vouch for anything like this more than when you're young, because it's the best when you're young. Let's get straight into the analysis. We have something very, very important to talk about in today's stream, because what we saw last time actually was Bitcoin ended up breaking down from $42,000, and then we traded downwards and we formed a series of continuation patterns that were bearish. So we initiated a short-term downtrend over here, then we formed a rising wedge here which broke down, then we formed another one which broke down, then we formed a big dead cat bounce which broke down, and so on up until about over here. We were forming yet another bearish continuation pattern, because this was already quite clearly a short-term downtrend, right? In the mid-term it was still bullish, long-term it was still obviously bullish as well, but short-term it was still bearish. And crucially, what we formed was another bearish continuation pattern where we've already had 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, and so on. This would have just been number 5. And you guys know how I like to do this kind of analysis. When we have very short-term continuation patterns, like very quick ones like this, look, I mean, this lasts us only how long? This one takes 4 hours, this one takes one and a half day, this one takes like 3 hours. We have very, very short-term ones, so I would start to expect a longer-term one. And this one took nearly 2 days. So we have a very, very clear example here of how you'll have very quick continuations and then very, well, comparatively slow ones. We see this all the time. I've been talking, if you're a regular subscriber of this channel, you've heard me talk about this all the time. You'll have, slow periods of consolidation, and then fast periods, and then slow, and then fast. And so we get this all the time, and we alternate it over here. But the reason I didn't go short, and the reason I didn't even sell any BTC, was because what we had at this point, and I would have told you this in the video, but I actually was sick. What we had was the same thing that happened down here. And actually, the last time this happened, I was wrong about this. I actually thought that we were going to break down. So what we did over here, and this is really important, so I'm going to get to the more real-time analysis in a second, but we need to understand what happened over here. What we did at this point over here is we established a short-term downtrend. Look, rising wedge broke down, rising wedge broke down, big rising wedge. See, these ones are short, this one is short, this one is short, this one is more than double the length, and then a very quick one. So we alternate, they go fast, slow, essentially. And then we had a much longer term one, but it ended up trading higher. And that's a key characteristic of this trend. You know, this trend so far, it doesn't really retrace much. If it does, it's usually pretty quickly, and I would definitely expect that to be even more, unpredictable and crazy in this market right now, while we're at, basically new all-time highs. And so even though we did form a bearish pattern here, we formed something very similar. We topped out at a kind of strange level, and then we dumped down, and then we formed a big continuation pattern, which should have meant that we traded downwards, but it was exactly the same pattern that we saw over here. So if you were paying attention over here, like I was, you would have seen that this was similar. Unfortunately, like I said, if you guys watched the last live stream or video, you would have noticed I was coughing and stuff like that. I didn't get coronavirus, I actually got sunstroke. I was really, really sick. I still actually, I'm fine physiologically, but I feel terrible as well. It's hard to explain. But unfortunately, I couldn't tell you guys that, but right now we are breaking up. And so the question is this, actually one of my bankers even texted me this. Are we in a bull trap right now? A bull trap means we're trading up, but it's just exciting the bulls, and it's a trap. It's like a mouse trap, and it's just gonna catch a lot of hands and then dump down. Are we in one of those right now, or is this trend going to really continue? And I think it's going to really continue. because, like I said, the nature of this trend so far, if we zoom out, has been that Bitcoin doesn't really retrace too much. We've only had a few big retracements that mattered quite a bit in this trend, and by a few I mean really just a few, and they were small. This one was quite small, but this is one of the major ones. I suppose you could count this one, but we recovered it almost instantly afterwards, so I don't think it really counts. Then there's this one again, but as well, we also recovered that one really quickly, and then this over here as well. You know, we're not really getting big retracements in this trend, and I think a big part of that is because we've traded slowly for a big part of this trend. So this was an excruciatingly boring period, so we paid for that despair now with enjoying some euphoria. Super clear when you understand that trends either correct by trading downwards or by trading sideways, and in this case we've been doing a little bit of that sideways trading. Look at this, a lot of examples of just trading sideways, not doing anything particularly interesting. So I think that this means we could be looking at trading back up to all-time highs, because look, the same thing that I said when Bitcoin was about to break down was there's not much resistance, sorry, there's not much support here. On the way up, Bitcoin hit resistance levels once, and then the next time it broke them consistently, or it just broke them straight away, you know? So Bitcoin didn't really have a problem breaking these resistance levels, and so equally it didn't have a problem falling below them as well. Obviously, when we trade up, these old areas of resistance should become new areas of support, but they didn't, because we didn't really use them as resistance. There was no price history, and if there's no price history, it does usually mean that things will end up dumping quite quickly on the way down. However, it's the same thing in reverse again. So because there's not much price history here, we definitely have an area of resistance, and we can visualize this very clearly by looking at the VPVR. Look, we have some spikes over here. Let's switch it on to the 4 hour. Let's zoom in a fair bit. And you can see that we're getting, actually, this isn't so clear. This isn't as clear as I wanted it to be for you guys, but yeah, I can't show this to you on this indicator, but we have some consolidation here, essentially. We have a relatively narrow range for Bitcoin. Let's just draw a box to represent this. And I think that this can represent some resistance for Bitcoin. It's already giving Bitcoin some grief, although I'm not concerned about this at all. But we've been trading here for a matter of hours now. This is relatively, I mean, what, like 6 hours? Yeah, 6 hours we've been trading here for, so look, we're not breaking it quickly, but we did establish some resistance here, I think, because we used it as support in the past. And so this is obviously going to be the level to beat, but as soon as we're off this, you know, I mean, you've seen the title of this live stream, Bitcoin Mega Moon Marathon has begun, in my opinion. And I've got to preface everything I say with in my opinion. And so I do actually think that we are looking pretty good from that side to definitely continue to rise up very, very high if we're able to break this resistance. Now, as I go along, guys, please drop your comments, your questions, in the comment section, and make sure to tag me, FORFLIES, tag me like this for Q's, for questions, so that I can see your questions in the comments as well. And I'm going to make sure that I answer them throughout this live stream. So a couple things I want to acknowledge later on in this live stream, including my predictions before about Bitcoin going down to 20K. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I want to go through my core analysis in just a second before I talk about these more nuanced things. So let's just go through those things right now. Let's bang through them. And I think there's, I mean, there's a lot of good news for this one, in my opinion. If we look at this on the 4 hour time frame with our beautiful Ichimoku cloud, the first thing I want to do is just draw your attention to how reliable it's been since this point over here, since about $12,000, $11,000. It's had a 100% success rate with predicting where Bitcoin might bounce up. Admittedly, it didn't have many tests. It had 1, 2, 3, 4, so, and this was the fourth. So before this we only had 3 tests of this indicator, but you guys know from my experience that I really value this indicator. I think it's very reliable and it's worked out really well. I mean, it couldn't have been better. We ended up falling into this cloud, we got a bounce, fell into it again, got another bounce. We formed a W shape as well, but it was with a higher low, and so that indicates that there was a lot of buyers stepping in. So again, these are things that we would be expecting in the market, and it does definitely mean that we ended up moving higher as well after meeting some of those support areas. And then if we zoom out even further and look at the exponential moving averages, this represents momentum in the chart. We do also have some very, very nice momentum on the daily that is now bolstered as higher. And this is a really strong point I want to convey with you guys, where this is a really strong area of support in my opinion. The 4-hour Ichimoku cloud is a really strong area of support in my opinion. Let's actually see, do we have EMA support here? No, we don't. We don't have EMA support here, but we do have it on the daily. And so those are very big areas of support for this chart to be finding right now in my opinion, and the resistance is not strong. So again, just in my opinion, we're seeing strong support but weak resistance, and that can only mean one thing, because the other thing we need to keep in mind is that because this trend so far has been parabolic, as soon as we rise above this green box, I think we're going to have a very, very nice time continuing to rise up and just breaking all-time highs constantly, going up to that 50k mark, potentially even higher, because the deal is we got our retracement in now. It could mean that we just kind of trade down and we trade in some sort of like a descending triangle for the next couple of weeks. I think that would be beautiful. If it happens, great, but like I said, there's not much resistance here that I'm seeing, so I don't think that's going to happen. I think we might end up breaking it relatively soon, and that could mean that this trend is going to catch wings relatively soon as well. So I'm very, very excited about that. As for next plays I might take, obviously I still only want to take on long positions in this market. I made this very clear before. As you guys know, I was expecting Bitcoin to drop below this level, but I still wasn't taking short positions on. I wasn't betting against the market. Even though I wanted Bitcoin to go down, it's only because I wanted to buy more and because I thought it would be healthy. But I wasn't trading the downsides because I've always thought it was too dangerous in this trend. And so the only things I want to do right now are open up more long positions, and I'm seeing some good support around here, around 35,000, another good support level around 36.5. This is also the Fibonacci zone that a viewer pointed out on a recent live stream. And then potentially somewhere around 37, something like this. So this general area between these two green lines. Potential areas for me to look at opening up long positions. Ideally, we get a small rejection and then we break up. I think that would make a lot of sense. But like I said, this trend, it doesn't really do rejections. I think we've already had a big one. So this one might just trade sideways and then just break out. I mean, I think that could be quite possible as well. Obviously, best case scenario in my opinion is always we do it slowly, we do it sensibly, we form a descending triangle, a lot of people shit themselves, and then the price breaks out. This is what I would always prefer. This chart puts us into next week, week after, that we end up breaking out. I think that would be perfect, but obviously I don't get my way with the market. The market will do whatever the market needs to do. So those are some key things that I'm keeping an eye on right now in this market. The other thing I want to take your attention to is what's happening with Ethereum. Ethereum has been moving very nicely. Ethereum is up by 8.2% today, 8.4% on this chart, whereas Bitcoin is only up by 6%. So we are seeing now that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. And if we take a look at this on the ETH BTC chart, we can see very clearly when Ethereum's dominance shot up. This is exactly what we predicted on the channel. So shout out to you guys who are here and you were subscribed to the channel, so you saw that. If you're not already subscribed, please do. If you haven't already hit that like button, please do. But we did see a nice spike of Ethereum gaining dominance against Bitcoin, basically Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, and then Ethereum lost it, it spiked up again, and it started losing it again. But we're finding pretty good support at this general area right now. We've started to bounce up again, and I honestly think that, from this point onwards, Ethereum should really, really start to rise a lot. However, I have to be honest with you guys, I've been saying that throughout this entire rally. So, I mean, I was wrong about it over here, I was wrong about it over here, but look, the longer this goes on for, the more I strongly believe it's going to happen. So I'm very optimistic about what Ethereum might do as well. And if we take it back to Ethereum's chart, I think it's doing really well. I mean, it had this Fibonacci retracement that I drew all the way from down at about $90. We ended up falling close to this 382 level I outlined. Unfortunately, this gap would have been amazing to trade, but I didn't get to trade it. We did fall close to this 382 retracement, and then we rose back above this 236 retracement as well. So we broke that resistance level. And again, it's the same picture I painted earlier, where we have really good support for these coins right now and not very heavy resistance that I'm seeing. So I saw a tweet from Carl the Moon. I'm sure a lot of you guys know the Moon, who mentioned that Google Trend searches for Ethereum are at all-time highs right now, but the price is not. The price is close. The all-time high for Ethereum is at $1,400. So we're only about, I don't know, like $170 away from breaking that all-time high. This is something that, I mean, if you guys have been watching for a while, you'll know exactly what's up, because I didn't shut up about this coin. I just kept on talking about it over and over and over since below $400, how I thought it was very likely to hit 800, and then occasionally I also said probably breaking the all-time high as well, and right now we're very, very close to it. So I think it would make a lot of sense if Ethereum is able to rise up to this all-time high, because the nature of this all-time high, same as with Bitcoin, if you guys have been watching since I was talking about Bitcoin breaking the all-time high when Bitcoin was at like 12,000, 15,000, I kept reiterating the same point, that the higher we go, the less resistance there is. There is just not much trading here. You know, in total, above this level here, above 1240, in total, Ethereum only spent like 7 days, call it like 5, because some of this time was spent trading below this level as well. Not many hours. I mean, what is this, like 120 hours that Ethereum spent trading above 1240? There's just not much price resistance here. There's not much price history, and so I think it should be quite easy for Ethereum to rise up, and given that Bitcoin has already done it, I think that Ethereum has that space to do it as well, and then once Ethereum breaks the all-time high, if it does, once again, I mean, the sky's the limit. I think it can run really, really hard, and the beautiful thing about Ethereum is that it's a small cap coin compared to Bitcoin. I mean, it's a very, very small market compared to Bitcoin, and that means it can run a lot harder. That's why we're seeing it pumping harder than Bitcoin. It's up by 8.3, but Bitcoin is only up by 6 or 5.9. However, it also drops harder than Bitcoin, and that again is because it is a smaller cryptocurrency. So I think those are some really, really key points. I also want to take your attention over to Ripple before I start going through your questions and diving even deeper into some of these key points. Once again, if we can shoot up those likes, would really appreciate that. Always does help out with the channel and the algorithms. Ripple just continuing to get dropped off an edge. SEC obviously calling it a security, which is putting a lot of people in fear. Sorry, dropped off a cliff is what I meant to say. And, you know, I think right now it's forming the same kind of continuation pattern we've seen all the time. I mean, this was a descending triangle. It broke down from there. It formed a rising wedge, broke down, formed a rising wedge, followed by a bull flag, and then broke down, and then formed a bear flag, broke down, a dead cat bounce, broke down, rising wedge, broke down. And so, I mean, and this is a big rising wedge right now. So it's the same thing I've mentioned a few times already in this live stream, where essentially it's having short-term continuation patterns followed by long-term continuation patterns. And so I think it's already potentially breaking down from here. Look, the nature of this coin is it'll only be bought up when it looks really sexy and only for the purpose of making money, which is fine, because that's exactly why I'm here for Bitcoin. That's why you are here for Ripple as well. Sorry, Bitcoin as well. But for Ripple specifically, because it's such a shit coin, it just gets dumped really quickly as soon as people realize they can't make money off it. And so this is still continuing to look really bad in my opinion, and if it is looking to set new all-time lows, which right now is quite likely against Bitcoin, then I definitely think that there could be big short opportunities right there. We've also got Grayscale dissolving their Ripple holdings as well, so that is huge, and I think one of the big questions to ask is, can Ripple ever recover from this? And the answer to this, actually, you're going to be surprised, is yeah, I think it might be able to recover from this, because it'll just get really big spikes, and it could even have a really big spike like this. The point is, it might only last a couple of days, because this one didn't last long at all, and then it would end up just kind of dumping downwards. I don't see Ripple ever pumping up and then keeping the gains for a sustained period of time. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Hopefully it does. I hope people get rich, but you know, I don't think that's going to happen. And so, you know, one of the main questions is, can it ever recover? But for now, I know a lot of people, including myself in the past, who have traded Ripple on the short side exclusively and made a lot of money off it. So I think that those are some really, really key points to consider. I want to take it over to the chat now and go through a couple of your questions as well. I am going to try to keep this one quick because, like I said earlier, I feel terrible. I don't look like it, but I do. And actually, thank you all for the recommendations to go to a chiropractor. I finally did that, and it was painful, but it worked. What if Bitcoin tops out again at 42k? Very good question. So if Bitcoin tops out at 42k right here, then we're looking at a pretty good double top situation. And it depends where Bitcoin tops out. If it goes just to 42k, then strictly, you know, I mean, if it goes, sorry, just a little bit lower and then dumps, then I think we're looking at some sort of a descending triangle formation where we might end up hitting this resistance again and again, and then potentially breaking down, or looking like we'll break down and then pumping back up. So this is actually something that happened in 2017. Let me show this to you. This is, again, those of you who watch this channel regularly, you'll know very well by now. I love to tell you about it. This is the first and only time in my life that I ever panic sold Bitcoin. But right here, we were in a descending triangle. We broke down from the descending triangle, which indicated that we were probably going to go really, really low. And this is where I panic sold Bitcoin. And then it ended up going up and never ever return back down to those levels. So that could be something we look at if Bitcoin tops out at 42k, and it depends how it tops out. You know, if it goes to 42k, and that's if it goes just below, but even if it does go to 42k and then it dumps down, but it's only been a few hours, then I think it's too early to draw any conclusions. If we dump sort of like below this green box, below 39, if we dump kind of below this area after hitting 42, then I think we could be in for a little bit of time waiting, a little bit of a challenge, a little bit more blood. I think that would make a lot of sense. But if not, and we just kind of, we hit 42, we get rejected for a little bit, and we trade sideways here, I'm going to be pretty optimistic that the price is just going to go right back up. So it depends on how we get rejected. And this is another really big thing, you know, where we can make, and in my opinion, we should make speculations on where the price might go based off different ideas, but we also need to see how it does that. So it's one thing for me to say that Bitcoin is going to dump $20,000. In order to do that, first it needs to dump down to 27, which it nearly hit. It was about 15% away, so I think that's pretty close considering the big dump it already had. Look, this was a minus 28%, so 15% is a fair bit off, but we dumped by quite a bit. But we also need to see how we dumped, and actually, you know, at the time, same thing. It did look bad to me. It was very recent, just yesterday. I even mentioned that I was still biased towards the downside. I still expected it to go down, but again, I wasn't trading it. So you know, I was still holding my Bitcoins. I still expected that even if it did go down, it would recover back up. And crucially, as time goes on, you'll start to notice patterns, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, where this followed exactly the same pattern as what happened before, right over here. So if you missed this because you joined a little bit late, then just go back and rewind this live stream, because this part was very important. It was right at the beginning, where Bitcoin ended up doing exactly the same thing over here as it did just now. So I think that it makes a lot of sense to just kind of sit back and evaluate these things. And analysis does not equal trading. I'm not here to be right. I love being right. It's good for my ego, but I'm mainly here to make money, obviously. And so, you know, it's about what goes in my pocket, not on my reputation for trading calls. So, so that's what I think. What else have we got? Can we trust Bitcoin? I don't know, man. That's up to you. Are we going to hit 30k again soon? So, you know, I really hope so. But like I said, this trend right now, it's still, you know, like the parabola is broken, so we're not in a parabolic trend anymore. Although, you know, the nature of these kind of parabolas is you can just draw them again constantly. So they're very, very subject to interpretation. I mean, you could have drawn one like this previously. Look, it would look something a little bit like this. And now, to fit your bias, you can just extend the curve a little bit. And now it fits your bias again. And so, you know, it's really difficult to say because this is so subjective, but it did break the old parabola. It could enter a new one. It almost always does in situations like this. And if that's the case, then I think it definitely could end up pumping right through the sky and potentially reaching some very, very nice levels. And given the fact that we didn't have a big retracement, the resistance overhead is not strong in my opinion, I think that makes the chances of Bitcoin breaking up, I think it makes those chances really high. And if that's the case, then I definitely expect Bitcoin to keep trading up and not coming back down to 30k anytime soon. And that's just going off what I'm seeing right here. But again, that's not something I would trade. What else have we got here in the comments? How do affiliate partnerships with sites like Phemex, Bybit, etc. work? Usually, it depends on your offer, but usually you'll just get a commission on trading fees paid. When will I open my next trade? So I'll probably open my next trade quite soon. I haven't traded at all for the past couple of days. One of the reasons is because I was terribly sick, but the other one is, and by the way, it's really impressive how fast I recovered, because I look pretty fine today. But I think that I haven't traded at all over this period. I didn't want to. I didn't feel like it was safe. But if Bitcoin rises above this level soon, I'm definitely going to open a trade very, very soon. I think that just going long above these resistance areas would make a lot of sense. I mean, there's no limit. You know, it'll just top out where psychology starts to panic, like where the masses start to panic. And so, yeah, that's an easy 10% gain at least that I'm seeing. You know, potentially bumping up to like 45k, easy. It could even happen in a day. And so that's something I'm interested in doing. I don't know the exact details of that yet. Obviously, that's something I'd share only in VIP, but that's a potential trade I'm considering. And so you asked me when I'll trade next. I mean, that could happen today. You know, like that could happen tomorrow. It depends on how quickly or if Bitcoin breaks up. Like I said, I'm not going to trade the short side. So the other trading opportunities I've looked at is potentially going long off support levels. But again, I haven't confirmed any of these things. I'm not completely sure about these things yet. I need some more time to sit with these ideas and process them, because at the moment I do think that any support in this range is quite weak, and that does make me uncomfortable to actually kind of commit to these kind of trading ideas at the moment. James Mucklin, what kind of chart site are you using right now? I'm using tradingview.com, and the link to it is in the description. BC, I hope I answered your question just there. What do I think about the daily trade in Bitcoin? I don't know what you mean. Mitch Stew, love the content. I'm in US and Phemex Bybit are unavailable. I'm trying to set up Kraken, but it's been a pain. Should I use my VPN? I can't tell you what to do. I know that almost every US trader I know uses a VPN, and they're doing it at their own risk, and I can't endorse that. Yeah, so I couldn't comment on that. Although I do know that Kraken's pretty good. I've used it myself. So I don't know why people hate on Kraken so much. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. Someone else just commented. This person uses Kraken. It's a simple platform. It is simple. I haven't even made a tutorial on it. That's how simple it is. But obviously, yeah, I prefer Bybit. I prefer Phemex and the like. I think they're better than Kraken, but Kraken's still good, in my opinion. FORFLIES. This is a good question from Maxwell. In your opinion, is this still an unhealthy trend, or did the 25% retracement reset it for you? Typically, it's a 30 to 40% retracement. Yes, in my opinion, I think it's pretty healthy right now. And the reason I think that is we haven't had deep corrections throughout this entire trend. Look, this correction right here before the all-time high was minus 17%. And that was enough for Bitcoin to double, more than double, after that point. And so if that was enough for Bitcoin to more than double, then this should definitely be enough for Bitcoin to do something interesting. Again, this was minus 25%, close to 30%. It happened very quickly. If we stretch this from the high to the low, it all happened inside of 3 days. So it was a very, very quick move as well. And that's just the nature of how these things happen, because it's the same thing I told you in the live stream on that day, guys. I mean, you know, Bitcoin will rise, and then it will almost always dump faster, because again, people in this rally right now are only buying it to make money, and as soon as that reason starts to disappear, we're just going to let go of it. And we haven't really seen big fear yet, and that, you know, the nature of the risk at the moment is that can come at any time. It's overdue. I still think it's overdue, but right now, for this current situation in the trend, which is, in my opinion, very irrational, broadly speaking, this is stupid. Like, I'm super uncomfortable with this, but you know, I got to play ball, because this is what I'm being given right now. In this context right now, from what I'm seeing, this 28% drop was enough to reset it, in my opinion. Yes, it typically is minus 30, minus 40%, but like I said, we don't have heavy resistance overhead. We cut pretty deep. This is the deepest correction we've had so far in this trend, like so far altogether, since where? Since down here, we haven't corrected by this much at all. Like at all, not even once. Let me just confirm that's correct, actually. I don't think so. Unless this counts. Yeah, that even that wick doesn't count. Yeah, we haven't done anything close to this. No, nothing close to this in this entire trend. So this is the biggest retracement we've had since March of 2020. This is 10 months ago. So I absolutely think that when you look at it from that way, this is absolutely a sign of the trend resetting and moving back into something that's healthier, in my opinion. I'm very positive about that at the moment. So my strategy now, people are asking me things like holding Bitcoin or USD. In a market like this, I'll always hold Bitcoin. I'll trade Bitcoin, I'll trade Ethereum or whatever, but as soon as I've finished the trade, move it back into Bitcoin, because it means I'm accumulating Bitcoin while the trend is bullish. So I'll make Bitcoin on one side and I'll gain more USD on the other side because Bitcoin keeps rising. ADA all the way. Let's take a look at Cardano. I haven't looked at Cardano for a while. Cardano down by 5%, slipped back into this green range. So this is important now. The last time I spoke about this green range was when I said Cardano bounced off this area and it reached this resistance, but this is kind of where I stopped talking about it. So Cardano has been using this green range quite well. We ended up rising above this green line and hitting the next one once. We did it again 3, we did it again 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7th time it failed. And this is really important. It was irresponsible of me not to say this earlier, but it actually didn't come to mind, where the more we use these type of trends, the weaker they get, in my opinion. And so we've been penetrating this level constantly. We've been making very, very good, clean use of it constantly, and so attempt number 7, attempt number 8, they start failing because we've essentially overused them, in my opinion. That's how it works, and you get a lot of evidence of this. There's a lot of situations, not on this chart, and I can't be bothered to find one right now, but we have a lot of evidence of this, a lot of examples of this, where we will use a pattern like this very well. We'll pump all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, and we'll use it really, really well the first few times, and then afterwards it just falls flat and the success rate falls to 0. This, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is exactly why trading algorithms and trading bots are so unreliable. They will work really, really well for the first, say, 5 to 6 times, but attempt number 7, they will completely catastrophically fail. Attempt number 8, they will completely catastrophically fail. And the other thing that's really important to keep in mind when using things like a trading bot or an algorithm is that when they work really well, you're going to be blown away. Like, you're going to be really, really impressed with the success rate of this bot or algorithm. So a lot of the time, what people start to do is they just dump more and more and more and more money into these algorithms because it's been working so well for them. And that means when attempt number 7 comes, which fails catastrophically, they're wiped out. Or maybe they're not wiped out. Maybe they lose minus 30% of their portfolio. Then they think, oh, okay, this is just an anomaly. Let's try number 8. Number 8 drops them by another 30%. And before you know it, this person's down minus 50% of what he started with. And so he's still probably up overall, but that's a lot to stomach, losing half of your money just in 2 trades. And so, this is something that's really important to consider. And this is what I'm all about when I talk about trading and analysis. This isn't just an analysis channel. Obviously, this channel primarily focuses on technical analysis, but especially what I cover in VIP is about the nitty gritty details of trading. I'm telling you exactly how I'm trading. I'm showing you all of the details about it. And crucially, there is more to it than just making or losing money. There's also the psychological impact on you. If you're making a lot of money very quickly, then you'll lose it quickly as well because you're overconfident. But if you've lost a lot of money quickly, you're going to feel like shit, you'll have 0 confidence, and you won't commit to good trading ideas. These are the things that you don't really consider when you start looking at strategies, but they hit you really hard in real time when you're actually trading. And so being aware of these things in advance, I think, is really, really important because everyone's going to get hit by these problems very soon. Nick is saying, if I don't put all caps in the titles, people will be more drawn to watch. I disagree. I don't like doing it, but gotta play the game. Do I have any positions on ETH? No, not right now. And if not, where would I get in and why? So I don't want to talk too much about exact positions I'll take because I share these details with VIP. But, it looks really good right now. My issue is that, usually I'd say I want to play it on a momentum long above the previous high. But this is really close to the all-time high, like really, really close, like only $50 to $100 gap. So that's not much space to trade. And actually right now, just kind of anywhere above 1250 looks like a good area to go long on Ethereum for me. But I think it's quite high risk. So there's nothing I would trade on Ethereum just for the moment. I think that the risk is too high. What are my opinions about banks everywhere trying to compete with Bitcoin by releasing their own crypto? I don't think they're competing with crypto because they're two different things. The crypto and banks are really different. You need to read a book like the Bitcoin Standard to understand this. You know, there's no way that a bank can offer a crypto and it's still going to be a crypto, you know, like and mean everything that crypto means. Like, yeah, it'll just be like on the blockchain or whatever, but it's one thing to be on the blockchain and it's another thing to be a cryptocurrency. Not technically it's both, but I mean in spirit and in practice. So I don't think anything of it. Only things I care about right now are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the other big cryptocurrencies that I'm trading. Do you also believe, like many, that Bitcoin will go over 100k? Not for me to comment on. Hopefully it does, but I don't care. I don't know which cryptocurrency is to mine. I don't mind chicken wings. Used to love them. But then I started eating healthy. When it does hit 42k, if it does, James, do you think we'll level out for a while or drop? No, I don't think we'll level out because, like I said, this market right now in its characteristics is very irrational and borderline parabolic. So I think if we do reach 42k, we might get rejected or whatever, but anything that happens, I think it'll be very short term, whether we just trade sideways or trade downwards, and then I think we'll just carry on back up to new all-time highs, and that's purely just looking at the trend that it's in already. I think it's a fool's game to predict where the trend is going to reverse. It could reverse at 42k, and you know I'd be happy about that, but it's, you know, if you were trying to predict reversals, look at how many opportunities you would have had to be wrong. Like, if you predicted this as the reversal, you would be correct for like 2 days and then you'd be liquidated, you know, and so there are a lot of tops which didn't really mean anything in this trend. And if you were trying to predict reversal points, I mean, just count this, and this is the attempt where you would have been correct, you know, and at that only by 28%. So there's no point predicting reversals, in my opinion. I think that it's a fool's game, and as a trader, it's really, really dangerous. It's really dangerous. A lot of people seem to think I'm a long-term analyst. I'm not. I think it's people who are new to this channel. If you are new, by the way, please do subscribe. But I don't do long-term analysis, so I don't know, and I don't care where it's going to go by the end of the year. I don't know or care if it will ever go above 100k as well. Probably will, statistically speaking, but it's not for me to comment on because I trade the much smaller gaps. Listen to people who are smarter than me if you want to know about long-term trends. Do you think we'll go straight above 50 or will we get a big reaction there? Look, it's a psychological resistance area, but in a parabolic trend, we can just fly straight past these resistance areas and not really do anything with them. And that actually adds more fuel to the fire. So again, you know, it's an area where, look, put it this way. If I'm in a long position at that time, I will take profits, but I wouldn't close out the whole position there because I think there is still some potential for Bitcoin to trade up. But I would certainly close some of my position there just to lock in some profits because it's just good practice. It's healthy practice, in my opinion. So I think those things are really, really good ideas. How do you phase out a trade while keeping your position as large as possible if your liquidation is dangerously close given the huge corrections Bitcoin can make? Okay, if your liquidations are dangerously close, it means you're over leveraged and it means your risk is too high. So just right off the bat, I never have that problem, never, because my risk is never too high. So I can't even comment on that question because I don't have that problem. It's like if you asked me, you know, like how do I stop my girlfriend from cheating on me because we have an open relationship? It's like step one, don't have an open relationship. Stupid example, but step one, don't be over leveraged, and that's how you avoid that problem. A lot of people will step into leverage trading right now, and they're gonna get really badly screwed. So you got to be careful with these things right now. Shout out to Jose. I don't know how to say her name, bro. I still don't know how to say that name. Jose Rivera, for being a new subscriber. Thank you very much. Luciano, thanks. Your tips have helped me. Well, thank you. Thank you for the comment. What are your thoughts on the USDT and Bitfinex potential issue for Jan 15th? Isn't that today? Yeah, it is today. I don't care. Yeah, couldn't. Yeah, no comment. Doesn't impact me. FORFLIES, at what price are you planning to sell your Bitcoin that you hodl? I don't know. I have no problem selling Bitcoin, guys. I mean, like, I was selling Bitcoin, just to put this into perspective, yeah, because I trade so well, like, I'd sell Bitcoin at any level. I was selling some Bitcoin down here. I was selling it up here. In fact, I've been selling at every point. I just kind of sell whenever I want to. So, you know, I was selling in the 6K range. I sell anywhere. So, it's not a concern to me. You know, like, as long as I'm making more in my trading, Bitcoin balance stays the same or grows, I'll just kind of sell small portions here and there. You know, it's just to lock in profits. So to me, it's just good practice. I like doing it. Taking profits never made a man poor. That's the way I see it. So I have no qualms with I have no problems with taking profits on Bitcoin anywhere. And there's no particular one level that I might exit. To me, it would probably be like we shoot up really, really high. We have a similar pattern to this. And next time I'm going to be experienced enough to notice it, hopefully. So we might dump down to like 44, pump back up to 56. And this is where I'd exit everything and then trade it downwards again. So then just kind of take short positions. But truth be told, I don't know. And I'm not thinking about that yet. So it's not something that's important to me. FORFLIES, who is smarter than you that we should listen to? You know, for the long-term trend, Tone Vase I think is really good. You know, and it depends on you know, like how much you want to agree with the person. So what I like to do is listen to people who are very bullish on Bitcoin, not mega bullish, but very bullish on Bitcoin, and people who are very bearish, and kind of weigh up what they're saying and then make my own conclusions. And you know, Peter Schiff is somebody who is, and that's Schiff spelled SCHIFF. Peter Schiff is very bearish on Bitcoin. Listen to him. Tone Vase is bullish. People like Carl the Moon and MM Crypto, very, very bullish. You know, listen to a group of people and then see, you know, who you agree with. Find something that you think is like a happy medium. So I think those things are really, really important. Waka Waka saying I sound like I'm from Bristol. You saw my reaction there. That was shocking. That's offensive. I'm a Londoner. Thank you very much. Born and raised. That's so offensive. I'm joking. Any small projects? Nope. Not interested in any small projects. Do I recommend? I don't recommend anything. Hi Sammy, do you think the ascending triangle breakout on Ethereum is very bullish? That sounds good. Let me see it. I haven't seen that. Ascending triangle breakout. Is this the ascending triangle? Oh wow, yeah, it is. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing that Bitcoin has done, isn't it? So yeah, something that looks a little bit like this. Yeah, this is good, man. I mean, you know, it's the same thing. It's higher lows and breaking the ceiling, then pumping out, blue sky breakout. Of course it's good. Yeah, I like it. I think that's really good. FORFLIES, what are your thoughts on people holding 10 times leverage trade over the long term? I think that's a really good idea. I love that approach. Better London or Dubai? Dubai. Easily. It pains me to say. It really does, but it's Dubai. He sounds like a Londoner who's been out of London for a long time. That is spot on. That's exactly what I am. I watch many YouTubers, but you are one of the best. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you like it. Intuition guided, 1,100 people watching and only 200 likes. You know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button, please, if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We've just smashed 61,000, already on our way to 62. We need to get 100. This was my childhood dream because I was an idiot and I wanted to be famous when I was a kid. Don't tell your kids to do this. Like every kid I see that, when they find out I'm a YouTuber, I tell them don't do it. It's just not worth it. But I need to satisfy young Sammy. So if you guys can help me with that dream, that would be amazing. I was obsessed with the numbers back then. So it would be amazing if you guys can help. I sound like Phil Wang. I don't know who that is. I have met with Chris, MM Crypto in Dubai. Yes, I've met with Carl. I've met with Jack. I've met with all the guys. Phil is from Bristol. I'm sorry if I offended you, for real. Turn the like button blue. Hell yeah. Oh wow, that was a big plus 50% increase on the likes. So guys, I want to go through your questions, but I'm going to be wrapping it up relatively soon. I want to give a very quick shout out to PrimeXBT. Somebody just asked me which exchanges I like to use. PrimeXBT is one of them. As you guys know, I use three primarily: PrimeXBT, Phemex, Bybit. PrimeXBT, they offer trading for contracts like gold, the S&P 500 index. If you guys know what that is, a collection of 500 index companies in the US. You basically get to bet on their economy, essentially not bet, but you get to trade their economy. There's a bunch of different options here, and I really like these guys. So there's a link in the description if you're interested, but just switch right back to the questions now. Do I trade to accumulate sats or USD value? So again, I trade to accumulate Bitcoin in a market like this, because Bitcoin is going up. So I'll trade and earn more Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin will rise and earn me more US dollars. And that's the way I like to trade. I'd like to see you and Crypto Kirby in a video. Me too. I've asked him, but I can't remember what he said. He wasn't open to it in the past, which is completely understandable because I've never done a collaboration either. I'm quite defensive. I don't think that I would let anyone on this channel either, to be fair. But I'd make an exception for Crypto Kirby because he's a legend. What else have we got here? Get your likes flying. Yeah, really, really shooting up. Thank you guys very much. Glad that you guys are enjoying this one today. It's been a good one, and like I said, the main thing for me to consider right now is what might happen with Bitcoin if this was a bull trap right now and we're going to end up crashing down. But then again, we put this into the context of what's happened in the past with this very, very crazy irrational trend, and I definitely think that it has wings to fly very, very high right now. I also want to divert your attention over to coins like Link really quickly. I want to talk to you about this one for a bit. We ended up bouncing off this 382 retracement and breaking straight through 236 resistance over here on the Fibonacci. This is good. However, again, it overshoots these levels by a lot. So it's continuing to demonstrate to me that even though this looks fun and it looks like it's moving nicely, it's moving very irrationally as well, very unpredictably. So I'm still not super keen on trading this. However, the all-time high is really close. It's what, like 20% away right now? What is this? Yeah, 17%, 16% away from the all-time high right now at $20. And I definitely think that in light of that, if it does reach this all-time high, it's probably going to break it very quickly, in my opinion, especially considering that Bitcoin could hopefully break the all-time high soon as well. And if that does happen, then again, sky's the limit for Link as well. So I'll actually let you guys in on one of my favorite strategies as a trader right now. I don't really talk about this too much, but VIPs have seen me do it a lot recently, which was to, in this market, it was to open a long position on a market like Bitcoin and then move my stop loss to break even. So now I don't have any risk and I don't stand to lose any money. And once I've done that, I'll open another position on a parallel market. So a parallel market to Bitcoin would be Ethereum, for example. It's a different market, but it's the same kind of thing. You know, like broadly speaking, if you zoom out, obviously someone's going to get pissed off. Oh no, Bitcoin, Ethereum are not the same. But if you zoom out, they're both cryptos and they're both major cryptos. So I'll open a long position on Bitcoin. I'll move my stop loss to break even. I'll take some profits. Now there is zero risk on that trade. Then I'll open another position on Ethereum, move my stop loss to break even, zero risk, take some profits. Now I have two active positions trading the same direction. Both of them, you can't even see my screen. Both of them don't have the opportunity to lose money for me anymore. And then I'll open up a third position on a very risky market like Link, like Tron. And again, my risk doesn't go up when I do this because every time I open a new trade, I seek to move my stop loss to break even really quickly. And the best thing about this strategy is that a lot of the time there's going to be a delay where, for example, Bitcoin might move first, then Ethereum would move, then Link would move. And so this is the best thing because I don't need to do any new analysis. I need to make the first trade on Bitcoin where I initially open up risk. Then from my own knowledge, I know that Ethereum is probably going to follow. So I'll just do the same thing on Ethereum. I'm just going to time it well. And then I'm going to do the same thing on Link with the same thinking. It doesn't require any extra brain power for me. It also doesn't increase my risk by much because my risk was already at 0, and so it's like opening a new position from scratch from the beginning. So my overall, let's say like 30% of my portfolio might be engaged and might be used up, but my risk would only be 10% of my portfolio. And so I stand to make 3 times the gain for 1 times the risk. It's a no-brainer in my opinion. And so I've been doing that constantly in this market. And if you've seen the results that I've been pulling inside of VIP, like I said, I don't share this super often, but let me see if I can get you a screenshot right now. This is why it's been going really well. So I'll just get you the most recent data. I should actually scroll up because this looks kind of crazy, but let's just show you what I have right now. And again, this is purely just to prove a point. One of the reasons I've been able to pull such good consistent profits in this market is because I was able to constantly trade the same thing, the same direction in different markets. So going back as far as, what month is this? Number 9? I think number 9 is September, right? So going back as far as September, I only had 2 losses. I don't know what happened here. And then other positions that, you know, partially closed at break even, partially closed in profits, different things like that. This column denotes the maximum closed. So the maximum close for this trade was 385% profit, but obviously I closed some profits before this as well. But this shows you how consistent the gains have been, purely because I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I don't need to do anything particularly different or special with this approach. I'm just trading the same thing over and over and over. And I find that strategy works really well for me. So if you do want to see how I'm trading inside of VIP, I've got some new fresh testimonials for you guys now. This guy also joined VIP very recently. He was actually, he joined us on the 11th of January, I believe. So we're only 4 days in. He's gaining more confidence, plus 13% over here, plus 26%. You can see his numbers going up already, feeling more confident, closing 75% of his position, letting the rest ride. I mean, he's doing extremely well inside of VIP. Another guy over here, this is somebody who I've already shown you a few of his testimonials. He sent me a very interesting message over here, mentioning that one of the things he's learned to do in the past year is not to trade as frequently out of emotional greed, and this is definitely a problem that a lot of people have inside of trading. This is something a lot of people need to keep in mind, because they actually overtrade. They, you know, like they lose some money and then they try to revenge trade, and then they lose even more, and it's a very big problem. So this person was able to learn how to avoid that, and then calculated his profit and loss, and he's up by $114,000. I don't remember what he started with, but I think it was way less than half. So if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong about that, but I know that he didn't start with this much or anything close. And then the next thing he said is, I won't tell you how much he gave back, as in how much he lost, but crucially in the end, learning a lot. Obviously, I can't answer financial advice questions, but this person mentioning that he appreciates all the content and long hours dedicated to VIP. There's a whole team behind this, so it's not just me. And this is just an amazing message to receive from one of our members. He is one of our lucky lifetime members, because we did offer a lifetime subscription to VIP briefly way in the past. We don't do it anymore, but we do definitely you know, we don't do promotions like that anymore, but you know, like right now the yearly offer is we've completely readjusted pricing on this, on access into VIP, so you can reach out following these steps and see what all the new pricing looks like. And by the way, I just want to highlight for you that this spreadsheet has a bunch of the spreadsheet I showed you here. I have the link to where I showed proof of me telling VIPs I was going to enter this trade. So this one right here, this 105% profit right here, this link takes you here, and this is the Ethereum position. Is it Ethereum? Yes, Ethereum position, long 10x. I entered at 407, and I don't know where I closed. I didn't save that data, but this position did go up to 105% profit, and this is the proof of how I shared it in VIP. As usual, I'll tell VIP members what I'm talking about. I'll tell them the ticker symbol. I'll give them a brief explanation of what I'm doing. This one was very brief. It's usually a lot more than that. And then I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing. I'm going long. I'm using 10 times leverage. My entry is here. Stop loss is here. Targets and so on. I'll give them all the information on this. So I've been ripping really nice profits on Ethereum throughout this trend. It's been really nice. Fully expecting to get back into it as well, and then continue continuing to give VIP members real-time updates on how I go. And that's just the aspect of VIP where you can see me trading in real time. So there's a lot more that goes into it. There's the whole educational side as well. It's all educational, but there's a lot more that goes into it, peripheral as well, and you can gain access to find out exactly what's going on with those offers by following these steps on the screen right now. Like I said, prices have been completely readjusted. They are the lowest they've ever been, and we've just lowered these prices now because Bitcoin is so high. So you are going to be getting in at the best Bitcoin prices we've ever done. But right here, this VIP member as well, that I keep showing you guys, going from 30k to 750k and then to 1 million. He's probably back up to 1 million by now. So I did mention that he went over 1 million and then he probably lost a lot of it, but now he's probably back up there. And that's just the nature of being a Bitcoin trader. You'll be a millionaire one day, you'll wake up broke, and then you'll be a millionaire the next day. It just happens a lot. So if you're new to this, then welcome to how this works. And there's a kid here in the office who just found out I'm a YouTuber, so he's really excited. But yeah, right here we have another VIP member once again with a beautiful triple-digit gain, plus $3,000 in less than a week into his VIP membership, playing off the feed times over, just absolutely killing it, and doing really well. So once again, the steps to join VIP are on screen if you are interested in finding out what we do and how we do it. I see a lot of your messages already, and my assistant is still online, so he will. Oh, actually, I think he might be going offline right now. So if he is offline, I'll reply to you. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I just want to go through your final questions, and then what is a kajal? I don't know what that is. I want to go through your final questions and then sign off for the night. I don't know what Crypto Kirby looks like. Oh, someone from Winchester, UK. Very nice place, Winchester. Matty G heard my voice commentary many times before seeing what I look like. Well, I hope you're impressed. Most level-headed guy I've come across on here. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work even. Thank you. I'm very glad that you enjoy this grounded analysis. That's obviously what I always aim to do. And you know, like, it's very clear the reason I'm able to do this, the reason I try to do this, is because I am a trader, and you know, like, I'm not an investor. I'm not just sitting there. My favorite analogy, I know it's so profane, but I have to say it. I love to say it. I'm not just sitting there with my dick in my hands waiting for something interesting to happen. I'm actually trading, and I'm actually out there on the battlefield trying to accumulate more Bitcoins and then ride that USD rocket up. And so I need to be aware of these things, and I need to be as unbiased as possible until I commit to a position. And at that point, I need to be very biased, but constantly still checking back and challenging myself as well to make sure I'm still on the right side of things. And so that's why sometimes VIP members will also see that I'll run a position up to, you know, like 10-20% profit, and then I'll close it. I'll close the rest out at break even. I'll close some at 10-20% profit, then I'll close the rest at break even because I've reconsidered the trade. And sometimes it's a very good idea because Bitcoin tanks. Other times it's a very bad idea because Bitcoin keeps going up. But it's all part of the process, and being aware of these things and being brutally honest with myself, staying grounded and realistic is life or death in this kind of environment. And that's why I've had to adapt and grow these skills, and I'm glad that I can help you guys with that as well. What else have we got in the comments today? What happens when global inflation... Oh, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I'll get back to your question, Eric, in just a second. I noticed you're a regular viewer, by the way. I've noticed quite a few of you guys are, actually, so that's amazing. Just a very quick note on inflation. Mr. Biden elected now, and, you know, I'm not going to go into politics because I really don't care, but I don't, you know, like, I wasn't particularly confident with Trump. It's not my country anyway, but the point is, like, for the economy and the US dollar, things weren't looking particularly good with him. And with Biden, I don't expect that to change too much. So, or if anything, I think it could get worse. Obviously, being part of the Democrat Party, they're just going to be more giving. And so, you know, like, we've seen the result of the stimulus checks. We've seen inflation just kind of really taking hold on the market. And something I want to put into context with you guys really quickly, once again, I'm going to blow up my camera so you can see me very clearly, is that, you know, in this market, since Bitcoin was created, since Bitcoin's inception, 75% of all the current US dollars in existence were printed after Bitcoin was created. And that was only, what, 10, 11 years ago? You know, in just over a decade, 75% of the current US dollars in existence were created just in the past, you know, decade, 11, 12 years. So, you know, like I'm not a diehard Bitcoin bull, and I'm, you know, like I like Bitcoin. I think it's cool, but I don't really care where it goes. But the trend is terrible, right? Let's just get that out of the bloody way. The trend is terrible, and you know, like if we really zoom out, we can see this really, really clearly. You know, I mean, this is only since 1986, 1985, and you can already see that it's a big drop. And I'm not optimistic. Oh, you can't see my chart. It's a big drop, and I'm not optimistic that the US dollar is going to be able to recover anytime soon and really hit those highs again. So especially with Biden in office, and if that's the case, then assets like Bitcoin, I think, will continue to pump very high. Assets like gold, I think, will continue to pump very high as well. So those are some very key points that I need to keep considering in this market at the moment. I think those are very important. Back to your question though, Eric. What happens when global inflation runs wild, considering altcoins are pegged to their native currency? There's no difference between holding altcoins and holding fiat. It depends which altcoins you're talking about. Some are not pegged. In fact, most are not pegged. So I don't know what you're talking about particularly there. Oh, another thing, by the way, I forgot to point out, is that in messages like this, in VIP, where I tell you what I'm trading, there are also tutorials for you to understand what this means if you don't understand what this means. If you're new to the game, we have a lot of very beginner-friendly content in there to bring you up to speed so that you understand what's going on. One thing I will not do is allow anyone to join and then still not understand what's going on. We have a lot of content covered because we've been around in some form or another, not necessarily VIP, but this group has been around in some form or another for, my God, nearly 4 years now, like 3 years and 9 months or something like that. So, like I know how it goes, and I know how to help bring people up to speed by now. And so there is a lot of exclusive content inside of that group to make sure that you can understand what's going on. And we will never let you be confused and not really understand, you know, like how to navigate this kind of information and how to understand it, basically. But yeah, in the event of massive global inflation, obviously I think these assets will keep going up. Twofold. One, because the dollar will get weaker, and two, because it looks like Bitcoin is going up, so people will buy it, and then Bitcoin will actually go up. Waka Waka, what is more mad is 20% was printed in this year alone. So yeah, I haven't validated these statistics myself, but these are believable if you look at how many stimulus packages were given out to businesses, to bloody politicians, to people. Look, I'm not saying these are bad things, that's for you to decide, but it's definitely bad for the currency and it's bad for the economy. So, well, it depends on how you define bad for the economy, but it's definitely bad for the currency. And so, you know, like it's just going to keep tanking in that case. And how can I be optimistic for it in that case? That just means these assets will probably keep going up, because that's almost always what happens. Like the currency goes down, so the asset goes up, almost always. I haven't seen a difference. Daniel, is it customary for Bitcoin YouTubers to wear flowery shirts? That's an amazing question. No, I just really like this design. I haven't even noticed that this is super common, but is this flowery? I thought it was more like a peacock design, and I loved it. But I think it's just a thing you do when you're living in good weather, isn't it? You just start wearing clothes like this. I always use isolated leverage. Someone asked me, do I use cross or isolated? Always isolated. Believe it or not, I still don't fully understand how cross works. Still. I understand the basic mechanics, but I'll never trade with it. Or maybe eventually, but I don't like it at the moment. FORFLIES, how do you think about funding rates when opening up trades? Yeah, they're really bad, and I am starting to consider them, but broadly speaking, the profits are so big that the funding rates don't matter. So I haven't really had a big need to worry about them yet, They will hurt me until the trade really takes off, but when it does take off, it's just so worth it. The funding rate becomes negligible. It's like buying $1 million car and the gas is $10. You just don't even notice it. That's how the funding fees are at that point. If we have any final questions, I'll be going through them, but otherwise I will be signing off relatively soon. I wish I could do longer today, guys, but I just don't have it in me today. Robert Lux, world class as always. Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you very much. Robert's a good friend. Actually, I did a podcast with him, and the link to that podcast is in the description. It's the second link in the description. So if you want to watch that podcast, go ahead and follow that link in the description. You're going to love it. Conrad, your shirt looks great. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. I love it. It was really, really cool. Don't I miss the English rain? Actually, surprisingly, yes. I started to get a little bit homesick because I've been living here for so long now. UK is in lockdown right now, though, so I don't plan on going back anytime soon. But I wouldn't mind feeling the rain on my face. I think that would. I never really, like obviously I hated. It's not necessarily the rain that I hated. It's just the gloominess. And how that puts you in a depressed brainwave state. It's not easy to break free from that, even if you have a strong psyche. So that's what I didn't like. But actual rain, other than the fact that it's inconvenient, I actually really enjoy it. I think it's really nice. I feel sorry for people who don't understand the pleasure of feeling rain on your face. It's just a beautiful human feeling. FORFLIES, what would be a best strategy to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum Classic at 10x to hold forever? I don't even look at Ethereum Classic. Do you mean Ethereum? At 10x to hold forever with little likelihood to get taken out by a correction. My best guess. First of all, I think those positions only happen by accident because at 10x leverage, your liquidation point is like 9.5% away. So that's really easy to trigger your liquidation. I think that would only happen by accident. I think my best shot at it would probably be a long off of this kind of level if we even get down there. That's probably where I'd say. Or a momentum long over here, but that opportunity is gone. So I think that would have worked out. How do I feel about the MACD indicator? I don't like it. It's just another momentum indicator. I don't use them. I think they're mostly useless. Only few exceptions. FORFLIES, so I guess that's why people don't hold 10x leverage trade for the long term because of funding rates. I should explain what funding rates are if you don't know. It's basically when you're trading on leverage, you are using the exchange's money. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, and I explain it inside of VIP if you're curious. And there's a bunch of explanations online if you don't want to join VIP. But basically, in exchange for that service, you are paying, I don't know, like usually something like what, 0.1%? Someone correct me, something like 0.1% every 8 hours, something like that, of the entire position size. So it's really big. It's a really big fee. If you got $100 in and you've got 10 times leverage, so you're trading with 1,000, you're going to pay 0.1% on $1,000, which is $1? I don't know, but it's really big because that's like 3 times a day, and if the position doesn't take off for like a week, that's a lot. That's a lot of fees to pay. However, I don't think that's the reason people don't keep them open, because again, if the position is going well for you, then funding rates shouldn't be a problem. They are minimal. They're big, but they're also minimal. It's a bit of a paradox. And in the face of a profitable position, they're not usually a problem. I think the reason people don't hold long-term 10x leverage trades is because they just get wiped out. It's just dangerous. FORFLIES, what do you think about gold, especially silver? I think gold is going to go up a lot, and if gold goes up, I think silver will follow. FORFLIES, how do you set up a trade on Bybit where if the price rises above a certain level, I will automatically enter a trade? That's called a conditional order or a momentum order. And the reason it was automatically cancelled is because you didn't enter it as a conditional order. So type in Bybit FORFLIES like this into YouTube. Type it like this, and you will see my tutorial on Bybit, and I will show you how to do that. It might not actually be in that tutorial. If it's not in that tutorial, it's in my Bitmex tutorial. But the exchanges work in the same way. Also, someone asked me why I moved away from Bitmex. I just don't feel safe keeping my money there anymore. It's sad because they used to be my favorite, but I just ran into a few issues with them. I don't really. I think they're good. Don't get me wrong. I haven't boycotted them or anything, but I prefer these guys. I mean, you know, put it this way. This is a really important thing for me and for you guys. I have connections at Bybit, multiple. I have connections at Phemex, one only, and one at PrimeXBT, and these are good connections. These are you know, these are useful connections. If something goes wrong, these guys will fix it. And not just for me, but also for you guys. There have been a few isolated situations, only a few, where someone has had an issue with one exchange and they reached out to me and they said, hey, can you help me solve this issue? And obviously I wanted to do my best because I think this person had some money locked away that they couldn't access. And so I personally took this person's email address, their user ID, and I sent it to my contact at the exchange. And they were able to help this person sort the issue. I think in that particular situation, the issue didn't get sorted out because this person was actually in the wrong. But just having these connections, you won't get that with Bitmex. And I think that's really reliable. It's really important. If you have connections that go up high and they're able to solve problems for you and they're able to do it quickly, not just for me, but also for you guys, you can use me as your medium to contact with these exchanges and get like more priority support. And that's something I always encourage you to do if you need it. Obviously don't abuse it, but if you need it, come to me, message me on Telegram, and I will forward your queries and your concerns to the relevant exchange if I have a contact there. One of our viewers didn't get the notification for this stream yet. So if you didn't get the notification, it's because YouTube is delayed. But if you're in our free Telegram channel, you'll always get the notifications for everything we do and you'll get them on time. So make sure you're in there. It's the first link in the description. And if you haven't already and you're interested in VIP, you want to see how these people have pulled really nice profits, getting comfortable with using these tools. Someone who hasn't really used these tools before, quite new to the game. You can join VIP by clicking on the first link in the description. Then click on the @FORFLIES button at the bottom of any post in FORFLIES Gold, and then click on send message to ask me how to join VIP. This entire process from start to finish will take you less than 30 seconds. There's no download required. There's no sign up process either. So very, very quick. How much longer do you think this bull period may continue? If you decide to buy and not trade, just come back in 6 months' time, would I expect that investment to pay off? Yes, I would. Although I don't see why I would do that because there's so much opportunity to multiply your Bitcoin holdings right now between now and 6 months. I mean, this guy in 10 months turned 30K into $1 million. So, and once again, by the way, if you haven't heard already, this was a typo. It was actually 30K. It was 3 BTC at a price of about $8,000, something like that. 3.6 BTC at a price of about $8,000. That's what he joined with. He joined our yearly plan. And he turned it into $1 million in 10 months, you know. So obviously he's one of our best performers ever, but the point is, I think there's a lot of room to grow and multiply these gains. And put it this way, I don't know where Bitcoin's going to be in 6 months. Let's say it's at 100,000, let's say it's at 40,000. It's still not necessarily life-changing money, you know. Like from 30K to 300K, that's still a really nice gain if you get a 10x gain, but you can only buy one house with that, depending on where you live. If you live in you know, like a developing country, then you can do a lot with that money. But if you live in San Francisco, you can't even have dinner. So you know, I think there's a lot of opportunity to do much better as an active trader, and that's why I choose to do this. But obviously I can't advise you on what you should do, and in fact you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't even listen to me. What else do we have here? Do I use 3 commas? No, I don't, although I think it's very cool. Oh, and then to answer the first part of your question, how much longer do I think this bull period will go? I can't say. I've talked a lot about how this bull trend will end. It almost always ends in the same way. I don't want to go into it today because I'm tired, but broadly speaking, it's just that Bitcoin will keep trading up and up and up and up, and people won't believe it, and then eventually they'll join the trade and trade it up and up and up, and they'll be correct for the first few times, and then it will tank. That's a very simplified version of how these trends usually dump and break down forever, like for a long time. They keep denying expectations, and then people jump on the bandwagon, and they're right a few times, and then it crashes. That's usually how it happens. It's just that it's very subjective when you're actually there. It's hard to tell. Because, you know, you could say that we're there already, because there are already some people who joined the bandwagon, like over here, let's say, and they were very, very much on the right side. So it's extremely subjective, and part of the problem is you have the signs for this repeating a lot. It's just one of the times it will snap. If I got a 10x trade at exactly $30,500, will I keep it or let it run? Those options are the same, but I don't think I would let it run forever. I wouldn't let any position run forever. I like to compound my profits. Why don't I use Binance? I think their security is terrible. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's really bad. And I'm not even going to go into why, but I have a big problem with Binance. And I've just stopped using them since like 2018. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I like what they're doing for the industry. I think some of what they do is cringeworthy as hell and abhorrent, and I'm surprised it's even legal. I don't think it is, but I think they don't care. But another thing is I just don't like some of their principles. They're really shady. I mean, you know, like, they're good, but they're also shady, and I just can't trust money with them. Yes, you can also trade leverage on Binance. They're good. I mean, a lot of our VIP members use Binance, you know, so it's not like I have something against them personally, but I know they're a good exchange, and I know they're simple to use as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go relatively soon. YouTube has been censoring crypto YouTubers. Other YouTubers have asked their viewers to resubscribe and set the alarm bell as well. Okay, thank you for that notification. I haven't seen that. Subscribers have only been going up. Thank you very much to all of you for that. But if any of you guys are watching this and you're not subscribed, then please give it a check and just make sure you resubscribe. Is buying crypto through Robinhood a smart route? I can't tell you that, but Robinhood doesn't let you own the Bitcoins. They just let you buy derivatives, or maybe they buy it for you, but they don't let you touch them. So I always think that's a bad idea. If you want to buy Bitcoin, then you should know why you're buying it. And a big part of buying Bitcoin is so that the government can't touch it. But if it's held by Robinhood, or worse, if you just don't have access to it, which you don't with Robinhood, then I don't see a point in buying Bitcoin. Like, yeah, you just get to make money on it, but it kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I don't like it. Abdul, I'm new to crypto, just signed up with eToro. eToro, if you guys haven't heard, is potentially disabling the buy button on Bitcoin over the weekend, which is funny, and that's just because they can't support all of the buy side volume. As for, you know, if I think it's good, yeah, I mean, they're good if you're starting out overall. Again, it's the same problem. They don't let you touch the Bitcoins. So I would not be comfortable with it long term. I do have a partnership with them. I just never talk about it because I'm a little bit ashamed of it. But I'm so honest with you guys. If any of you from eToro are watching this, you're probably just going to cancel my contract right now. I've never promoted them. I have a partnership with them, but I've never promoted them because I'm just embarrassed. But I think they're good, and especially just as a beginner. But, you know, if you're going to be serious and you have long-term goals, then I think it's important to get on some real exchanges. And I have links to them in the description, but one of the ones I wanted to bring to your attention today is Prime XBT. The main one I use for Bitcoin trading, is Bybit. And again, the link to that, it should be in the description. Let me just check. Yes, it is in the description. So just scroll down and you'll see the Bybit link, and I say where I trade Bitcoin and ETH on leverage. This is the main exchange I use, and I think it's great. I love them. They've been nothing but good to me, and I haven't heard a single VIP member or anything complain about Bybit as well. And by the way, I've been updating you on the numbers. Where is VIP at right now? We just crossed 900 today. Yeah, just today. VIP crossed 900 members. So I've been giving you updates. 800 a couple of weeks ago, 850 like 1 week ago, and so on. Just crossed 900. So again, an all-time high for us in VIP as well. Shout out to every single one of you who've taken that leap as well. TDG, J. I'm bad with letters. Asking me how much is my course. We have a couple different courses, so just reach out on this link. sorry, by following these steps, and we'll give you the information on our courses. Do I see 22.5k? I bloody hope so, but no. We're getting a small dump right now though, so I don't think this is going to go too low. Let's just see if it bounces off some crucial support levels, and if it does, then absolutely great. Do I see the M on the DXY chart? Yes, I do, and I'm very happy about it. Which region for Bybit? I mean, I think it's, I don't know, you'll have to go on their website, but from what I remember, most of Europe is fine. Just the UK that banned them because they're fucking plebs and they're spineless. But most of Europe is fine. Almost all of Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Middle East is good. A lot of Asia is good. Obviously North America is blocked as well because their government is also fucked. Really just US and UK are some of the worst governments in the world. Just disgusting. Just tyranny masked under a fake democracy. It's absolutely disgusting. If you thought this 2020 election was rigged, oh man, like, you know, it's really bad. eToro has left the chat. Yeah, someone asked me in text to which exchange to use. Obviously, I can't give you recommendations on that. Most of the US people I know, they just use Bybit. They just connect with a VPN, but I can't endorse that. I don't recommend it because it might be dangerous. I don't know. It's up to you. Consult a lawyer and all that. Bybit is obviously my favorite, and I've used nothing but Bybit for as long as I can remember now. You know what I've just realized is since I've come to Dubai, I haven't had a good fish and chips. I haven't had any fish and chips. And I want fish and chips now. A lot of the time, I would finish a live stream, I'd finish a video, and then get fish and chips back in the UK. I missed that. Should get going soon now, because got somebody waiting for me. UK is easiest the worst government. Yes, they are, Anthony. Spot on. I mean, it's easy for us to say. Like, you go to Lebanon and they would say they have the worst government, right? So problems in context, but ours are also, yeah, they're not the best. Well, they're not mine anymore, so you can enjoy them. Right, guys, I think I'm going to head off now. If we can get a final pump on those likes, thank you very much for 500 likes. Let's get them even higher. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel. It does really help out. And if you like this video and you want to see more of it, see quite a few of you have already subscribed during this live stream. If you liked it and you want to see more of this kind of content, then please do subscribe. Tick the like button as well. Sorry, tick the bell so you can get notifications on when these videos go up. But more importantly, join our Telegram channel where you get all of these notifications in real time, because YouTube is very, very delayed. Intuition guided, missing a chippy now that you mentioned it. Yeah, man, I don't know why I got this craving so suddenly. Shawarmas all day, yes, they are great. I might go for a shawarma, actually. I shouldn't, I had a steak. I'm doing intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, so it's not good for me to eat twice. Crypto coin, I don't think there's any exchange in the UK to use for derivative trading anymore. What I do know is most exchanges don't care because they rightfully are not taking the UK government seriously because they're plebs. But is it dumping harder? No, it's not. It's fine. It just it bounced off a rough support zone, so it might go back down again. It might even go lower, but it has so much support below. I might even trade something relatively soon, you know, like if this continues to go well. But yeah, as I was saying, I haven't heard of any exchange actually blocking out UK customers. It's just that they're not allowed to do it anymore. Who knows if Binance need KYC verification below 2 BTC? I think it's only above 2 BTC they need KYC, which is a lot of money right now. 2 BTC is like 80k. So, you know, that problem's far away for a lot of people. FORFLIES, can I pay with Swedish krona on Bybit? Not to my knowledge, I don't think so. Probably something like Coinbase to buy the Bitcoin and then move them to Bybit. Buy the Bitcoin with Swedish krona or local Bitcoins, bunch of websites. Bunch of different things like that. What else have we got? Bybit is overall best but not accessible to Americans with crappy exchanges without a VPN. Yeah, I mean, Americans don't really have many options if they're not using a VPN. There's not much open to Americans in that case. James, FORFLIES, I'm new to the channel. Welcome. How often do you post these videos? Nearly every day. I try to do them every day. And I do live streams on interesting days like today. But most days I'll just do videos. And obviously videos are a lot shorter. So they're nearly every day. Go back and don't watch the old videos because they're outdated now. These videos become outdated after a day, by the way. But oh, someone mentioned buy on Swissborg. Yeah, I believe you can withdraw BTC from Swissborg as well using Swedish krona. So you got a bunch of different options. There is a lot. You don't need to worry about how to acquire Bitcoin. Everyone wants to sell you Bitcoin these days. You need to head back to London for fish and chips. Yeah, if my chippy is open. Because they're in, what, like tier 4, tier 5 lockdown now? I don't even know. I might go back. I think I need to. And Dan H is saying, but you're so skinny. I might look it, but I'm definitely not. I'm still in the overweight category. Actually, just recently I came out of the obese category, like a couple of months ago. So I used to be like a gamer. I used to play video games like 12 hours a day, and I was like 110 kilos and like 5'7". This is how overweight I was. You know, none of it was muscle. So I was really, really bad as a kid. Right, guys, I'm gonna head off, and I hope you have enjoyed this. One final note: there are a lot of scammers in the comment sections these days. If you see someone commenting as FORFLIES but they don't have my verified tick, it's not me. So please look out for that. If someone tells you to reach out to somebody on WhatsApp, don't do it. Someone tells you to reach out to somebody on Telegram, don't do it. These people are scammers, and people actually fall for them. So just report them if you see it, because these guys, they make a new account every single day, and that means I can't block them. Well, I mean, I can block them, but then the next day they come with a new account. Alright guys, I'm going to be heading off now. Hope you have enjoyed this. Please smash up that like button one last time, and subscribe if you haven't already. Still, I have to say, the best office I've ever had. I'm hearing these V8s, V10s, V12s behind me all day in this office. This is absolutely amazing. Gonna get some more staff in-house very soon as well. I'm very excited for that. We've never had staff in-house, by the way. We've had staff in the same country, but always working remotely. We're gonna have them in-house for the first time. And shout out to Spence losing 100 pounds in a year. Congratulations on that. That is huge. Life-changing, man. Absolutely life-changing. Alright guys, thank you for subscribing. Fry-ups. I'm going to see you all in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.